Hey everybody! So I wanted to go over this little guy right here because even though we haven't had a case here in animals, we have had a case of a man in Rhode Island that was infected with a screwworm that he came from El Salvador, so it was a travel associated. It wasn't done here, but Mexico, their screwworm infections have gone up a huge percentage that even the United States has gone over there to try to combat this because we have not had a screwworm infection or infestation since the 1960s. So it's been eradicated here. So I made a video recently talking about that man in Rhode Island, and that video is gaining popularity. So I wanted to talk about what the screwworm is, what to look for, how to prevent it, and what to do if unfortunately you are infested with this. All right, so the official name is the New World screwworm. It's also known as primary screwworm, and this is a tropical fly capable of surviving in the southern US. The New World screwworm is incapable of overwintering in regions that experience low temperature, so they don't do well below 45 degrees, and they will die because they would freeze to death. However, the larva can burrow up to 6 inches into the soil. So even if it's cold, if this fly puts babies somewhere, these babies can survive until it's hot again. So the reason that this fly poses a threat is to livestock and wildlife is because they deposit their eggs into wounds of living animals, leading to larva infestation. And because they can host on any living mammal, they can also affect pets and humans. And as you saw, it's a metallic green blue fly, which is what we saw in the picture, with large orange eyes, and is about the size of a common housefly. So they don't bite animals. Their damage comes from laying eggs in open wounds of living warm-blooded animals, rarely birds. So the immature fly larvae or maggots feed on living tissue of the hosts, burrowing into the animal's tissue, causing tremendous damage. And this is how pets and people and livestock pass away due to infections, due to being eaten alive, basically. So the reason we haven't heard about this until now is because, like I had mentioned earlier, it was eradicated here in the United States. The last time we saw this was in the 1960s. So by 1967, the cases had fallen to a 99% reduction. Even though we do see it here and there, it's not even close to what we used to see in the 1960s. But now Mexico is seeing a huge increase in this, and we're really close to that border. So now the United States is a little worried, especially after having that guy from Rhode Island having an infection from El Salvador. So why is it called a screwworm? Because they, like I said, they burrow and screw into the wound. So this can cause a lot of damage because they tear the tissue with their sharp mouth hooks. And the wound gets bigger, it gets deeper as more eggs hatch and more larva feeds, and the wound gets untreated. The infestation gets serious. This is how you get sepsis, you get infected, tissue dies. So it's just like a catapult of things. So the infestation, at first, you're not going to see anything in the early stages, but the key signs that you are going to see is that the wound is not healing. It has more discharge. It smells. It's going to smell like decaying flesh. You're going to see maggots in the wounds. They might head shake. They're going to be irritable. And like I said, it's a lot of drainage. It's not healing. So you're going to notice that something's going on with this wound. So if you do see this in your livestock, please get them checked. So if you have livestock and you do see maggots or larvae in a wound, please contact the veterinarian. The veterinarian is mandated by law to collect and submit larvae for identification to the USDA to make sure that we're not having an infestation here, especially since Mexico has such a huge increase in infestation right now. So typical insecticides are not as effective. Eradication is the best way to control screwworms. However, control removal of the fly when found on host is critical to reducing the local population so that the sterile fly program succeeds more quickly and reduces animal suffering. So trying to keep these flies away is the best way to control screwworms. Also, if you do see this, please confine the animal immediately for wound care, and the larva should be removed and placed in alcohol. So after removing the larva, treat the infestation with topical pesticides labeled for the use of animal to kill any larva that may not have been removed and reduce the likelihood of reinfestation. The wound should be monitored until it heals. Again, please contact your veterinarian so they can administer antibiotics and do a proper wound care protocol so that it can fully heal. So when dealing with livestock, all other animals in the herd should be checked for wounds and larvae, and anyone who finds fly larvae infesting a living animal, they must report this to the state veterinarian. This is the protocol for reporting. You can find it at Texas Animal Health Commission or the USDA website. Texas has also put out protocols that I put on here that if you want to pause, you can read that. And like I had mentioned, Mexico's screwworm cases have gone up by 30% according to the government data. And of course, the US is scared because we are so close to them. And like I had mentioned, there has been at least one human travel related case in the US, and that was a man in Rhode Island. So that's my informational on screwworm. I hope you guys learned something, and please, if you have livestock, take care of your babies and make sure that they don't have open wounds, and take care of yourself. If you have a wound and you see it's not healing, please go to the hospital or go to your provider to get that checked, and also check your animals as well. As always, stay informed, stay safe, and follow to stay in the know.